Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, kicking off our Group of 5 conference recaps with the best Group of 5 conference in the nation and the American Athletic. Before we get started, guys, as always, make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and also make sure to check out everything down in the description below. That includes our expert picks over on thegridironexpert.com. Some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country, only on thegridironexpert.com. Make sure to sign up for those today before the season starts. Make sure to check out PrizePicks. Use our promo code in the link over there to sign up for that before the season starts. Both those things can make you some money, and we're going to be there to help you make that money. So don't miss out on these offers. Check them all out down in the description below. So let's take a look at the American Athletic Conference, guys. Again, we're not doing game-by-game predictions for these teams like we did for all the other Power 5 teams. For these Group of 5 conferences, we are just giving you our projected standings with a little extra analysis on top of that. But you look at this conference, they have done away with divisions. There are only 11 teams in the conference, so it's just a straight 11 teams, guys. And the top 2 teams will meet in the championship game. Will meet in the conference championship game. And we said this is the best Group of 5 conference for a reason. A lot of talent, a lot of competitiveness in this conference, and they're led obviously by Cincinnati. And that's where we're going to start because that's who we have at the top of the standings right now. A Cincinnati team that was the best Group of 5 team in the country last year, going undefeated in the regular season, winning the conference, narrowly falling to Georgia in the Peach Bowl. A Cincinnati team that now is a college football playoff contender in many people's eyes. If they were able to upset Indiana and Notre Dame both on the road and then run the table in the American, the Bearcats would have a very strong case to make the Final Four, to make the college football playoff. As you can see, we have the Bearcats coming in at 11-1, 8-0 in conference play. So undefeated in the conference, but one overall loss. We have that coming at Indiana. The $1 million question would be, would that be enough to keep them out? Most likely it would be. One loss might do Cincinnati in. But you look at this Bearcats team, guys. They won every game last year by double digits with the exception of the road game at UCF and the championship game against Tulsa. Desmond Ridder is back as the quarterback for Cincinnati, one of the best QBs in the nation. The defense ranked 13th nationally last year. They are loaded on all 3 levels, the secondary, the linebacking core, the defensive line, and their 3 biggest games of the year all come at home. They host UCF, they host Tulsa, they host SMU. Luke Fickell's squad is the team to beat in the American. And we have them with a 2-game lead in conference play over the second-place team in UCF. And they're going to be a very, very fun team to watch, guys, because Gus Malzahn is the new head coach for the Knights. Josh Heupel is out, went over to Tennessee. So is their athletic director, and Danny White also went to Tennessee. UCF has a new coach, has a new AD, but Malzahn's a brilliant offensive mind, and many people say he just feels rejuvenated down in Orlando. Kind of some new life after things kind of got stagnant in Auburn. UCF went 6-4 last year, so this will be a major bounce back year for UCF. And here's the thing. We know the offense is going to be good. With the mind that Malzahn has and the fact that he inherits one of the best quarterbacks in the nation in Dylan Gabriel, I'm not worried at all about UCF's offense. I think they could hang with just about almost anybody in the nation. The major concern for me for the Knights is their defense. A defense that returns just 3 starters. Yes, I know they've landed a few key transfers, but a defense that returns just 3 starters from a defense that was 123rd nationally in 2020. UCF's offense can hang with anybody, but I'm sure anybody else's offense could hang with UCF if there's no defense out there on the field. The Knights have a very interesting schedule. They open the season against Boise State. They travel to Louisville, both those in the non-conference. They travel to Cincinnati. They travel to SMU. So the schedule's tough, but there's opportunity there for the Knights to be a New Year's Six Bowl contender. Obviously, that includes even if they just go 1-1 versus Cincinnati. They lose in the regular season, maybe beat them in the championship game, because obviously, as you can tell by our standings, that's who we have meeting in the championship game. They could contend for that New Year's Six Bowl spot. But we have them at 9-3, 6-2 in conference play. And while many Knights fans would be upset with that, I think that'd be a dang good bounce back year and a dang good year 1 for Gus Malzahn. We have Houston coming in right behind them. So obviously you can see UCF owns the tiebreaker over the Cougars. They have the exact same record. Dana Holgorsen needs a huge year with Houston. I think this is the year they finally break through and get it. Clayton Tune returns as one of the better quarterbacks within the American Athletic Conference. The major question offensively for them is the skill position. They had some questions at running back. They had some questions at wide receiver. Marquez Stevenson is gone. Keith Corbin is gone. So Clayton Tune has to build some chemistry with some pass catchers, but I think he can do that relatively quickly. Not to mention they returned 9 starters on defense. Not to mention that they avoid Cincinnati and UCF on their schedule. So Houston actually has a very favorable schedule this season. So I believe that they come in third, top 3 finish in the American, just miss out on that championship game. But look, a shot at a 10-win season for Dana Holgorsen, that would clearly show that he's doing a good job. Things are going to be trending in the right direction for Houston. Right behind them is SMU. I believe the Mustangs have one of the best and most underrated trios in the country right now. Tanner Mordecai transfers in at quarterback to take over for Shane Buechele. Ulysses Bentley IV is back at running back, and Reggie Roberson is back as one of the top wide receivers, maybe the top wide receiver in the American Athletic Conference. Those 3 players alone are going to make up for one of the most explosive offenses in this conference, and no one's talking about it. SMU with Sonny Dykes went 7-3 last year. Not a bad record at all. We have them improving slightly at 8-4, 5-3 in conference play. Like many teams in the American, SMU has to focus on fixing their defense, and they have to navigate a difficult schedule at Houston, at Memphis, UCF, at Cincinnati, hosting Tulsa. It's a rough go for the Mustangs. But the offensive talent is there. They can hang with just about anybody in this conference. They improve a lot on defense, and the Mustangs could be battling for a spot in the championship game. Again, you can see basically all the way down to Memphis. 1 game separates Memphis, who we have coming in at 6 in the standings. 1 conference game separates them from UCF, who we have making the championship game. So it's going to be a tight race. Top 6 teams. Those 6 teams can all compete for a spot in that title game with a date against Cincinnati. Show you how good this conference is. Right behind SMU is Tulsa. Have the Golden Hurricane going 7-5 1 year after making the championship game, going 6-3, undefeated in conference play before losing to Cincinnati narrowly in that title game, as we mentioned. 19 starters are back from last year's squad. Biggest loss, arguably, is Zaven Collins, a first-round NFL draft pick. But the defense is again loaded, one of the best in the nation last year. 19th overall, actually. Shamari Brooks is back at running back. Got injured early in the year last year. He should come back, bounce back in a big way, and give a boost to this offense. That wasn't bad last year, but unlike SMU, Houston, UCF, guys like that, lacked, to me, big play ability. And the Golden Hurricane had a rough ending to the year, losing to Cincinnati and losing to Mississippi State. But look, Philip Montgomery was on the hot seat going into 2020. He rebounded and responded by going to the championship game. He goes again this year by getting 7 wins, maybe getting an 8th in a bowl game. Things looking fine in Tulsa. If I'm a Golden Hurricane fan, I'm thrilled with that. And then Memphis. We mentioned kind of rounds out those top 6 teams that really could battle for a spot in the championship game. Really just a battle for second, because I don't see anybody beating out Cincinnati for first. The Tigers went 8-3 last year in Ryan Silverfield's first season with the program. Not too bad, right? But the question is, can they do it again? Brady White is gone. The legendary star-studded quarterback from Memphis is gone. But he went out and got a transfer quarterback in Grant Gunnell from Arizona. He comes in to inherit an offense that was 17th nationally in passing. Brady White deserves the majority of the credit for that. But give some credit to Calvin Austin III, who is one of the top wide receivers in this conference. If he builds quick chemistry with Grant Gunnell, this could be a very dangerous passing duo. Memphis returns 9 starters on defense. The major question for me for Memphis is, I think the offense is fine. Silverfield's a solid offensive mind. Memphis is always a solid offensive team. They've got to improve defensively, and can they navigate one of the more difficult schedules in the conference? Road game at UCF, road game at Houston, road game at Tulsa, a non-conference road game at Arkansas State, who now has Butch Jones as their head coach, a non-conference game at home against Mississippi State, hosting an SEC team, but one as an air raid SEC team, and Memphis struggling against the pass. So a lot of questions there for the Tigers, guys. This is a team that very well could be 6-6, could maybe miss out on a bowl game. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I like Ryan Silverfield. I like what I see on offense. 7-5, 5-3 in conference play, and as you can see, SMU, Tulsa, Memphis, all coming in at 5-3 within the conference. So those are your top 6 teams, guys. After that, there's a break. So those 6 teams we have going bowling. The remainder of the conference we do not have going bowling. But each of these teams has the opportunity and the potential to be competitive, to hang with some of the top dogs and give them some scares. And no team has really done better at that than East Carolina. We have seen in recent years East Carolina give teams some scares. They've upset SMU a few times. They nearly upset Cincinnati a few years ago. Mike Houston is doing great things with the Pirates. And as you can see, we think they have the potential to maybe go bowling. Just have them missing out. 5-7 in overall, but 4-4 in conference play. So 4 conference victories for Mike Houston, the Pirates, would be phenomenal. This team went 3-6 last year. 2 of their losses were by 1 possession, so that's not very far-fetched. They returned 20 starters. They have a star quarterback at Holden Ahlers coming back. They averaged 173.8 rushing yards per game. The offensive talent is there. Again, like many of these teams, ECU has to improve defensively. They were 102nd nationally in total defense. But with 10 starters back on that side of the ball, I think they can do that. And to me, they're just one upset away from getting to their first bowl game under Mike Houston. A team that was a couple of years ago in the cellar of the American. We have them at 7th in the standings this year, and again, flirting with bowl eligibility. Below them, Tulane and Navy. Both of those could be surprises to you guys. It could be a surprise to the outsider looking in. Let me explain. Tulane, a lot of people have them at 6-6. I love Willie Fritz. I love what he has done with the Green Wave. Here's the problem. Tulane went 6-6 last year. 4 of their 6 wins were over teams with a losing record. 4 of the 6 wins were against teams with a losing record. And I hate having Tulane at 4-8, but listen to the schedule and listen to the losses they have on defense. They're losing their top 2 pass rushers on defense. There's a handful of offensive starters. Michael Pratt steps in at quarterback, looked great last year. I think the offense can thrive, but they also lose their offensive coordinator responsible for that in Will Hall, who left to take the head coaching job at Southern Miss. Tack on a schedule that includes games against Oklahoma, Ole Miss, at ECU, Houston, at SMU, Cincinnati, at UCF, and at Memphis. It is a rough year for Tulane. They're going to have to really have some perfect games and pull off some big upsets just to get to the postseason. And I just don't see that happening with the losses on defense and a few questions on offense, even though I do have faith in Michael Pratt. Tulane at 4-8, 2-6 in the conference. A shocker to some, and he will disagree. But again, you factor in what happened last year, you factor in what they're dealing with this year, I think it's a kind of a letdown year for Willie Fritz. You get Navy. A lot of people disagree with that. How can Navy go 3-9? That's ridiculous. Well, they went 3-7 last year. The offense was horrendous last year, and when you look at the roster and you look at the quarterback questions, and again, not to pass, but to obviously run the triple option, it's no surprise that it could happen again for Navy, that they could struggle majorly this year. Kind of like Tulane, they have a difficult schedule. Marshall, Air Force, at Houston, UCF, Cincinnati, at Tulsa, at Notre Dame, Army. They have 8 starters back on defense, and that defense is going to have to carry this team because I don't have faith in Navy's triple option offense to really bounce back in a big way. I don't have faith in that at all. And with a schedule that difficult, I believe that the majority of these offenses can exploit this Navy defense, one that absolutely will get tired if their offense can't sustain drives that they're used to. So Navy at 3-9. And then finally rounding out the American, USF, South Florida, and Temple, both at 2-10. I really like Jeff Scott with the Bulls, guys. Some people think they could win 3-4 games this year. So this is a team that gave up 39.9 points per game. A team that has, a difficult schedule at NC State, Florida, at BYU, at SMU, at ECU, Houston, Cincinnati, at UCF. Houston somehow got the best of the lot, guys, avoiding the top 2 teams in the conference. South Florida just in for a rough go-around in year 2 under Jeff Scott until they can finally implement his offense, until they can finally improve the defense. I do think they get a conference win over Temple, who we have going 2-10, winless in conference play. They went 1-6 last year. Star quarterback Anthony Russo is gone. They have 10 starters back total, not on either side of the ball, just 10 starters back total. Another very tough schedule, and this is a team that to me is just devoid of offense. They don't really have much of an offense. Real Mitchell, DeJuan Mathis, whoever's at quarterback, I don't have much faith in them. Rod Carey is going to be in for a rude awakening this year, and it could be enough to get him out, guys. It could be enough to send him away from the Owls, let him go. Temple 2-10, 0-8. It's going to be a rough year for the Owls. So after all of that, you can see that the American Championship game is going to be Cincinnati versus UCF. Luke Fickell versus Gus Malzahn. Cincinnati's defense versus UCF's offense. It's going to be an instant classic. These 2 teams, of course, are going to meet on October 16th. They'll meet in the regular season. We believe they meet again. Both those games, though, will be at Cincinnati. And in a way, guys, that could be the difference maker in both. Home field advantage is going to play such a huge role in college football this year. And Cincinnati, guys, depending on where the playoff committee ranks them, depending on how the playoff committee views them, could be fighting for their playoff lives right here. Obviously, if they want to have any small chance at it, they have to win this game. Because if they lose again, they're out. But if Indiana thrives and does extremely well, and that's the only loss for Cincinnati, and they have 2 wins over maybe a top 25 UCF team, they've run the conference in the American. We think they do go on the road and get a road win at Notre Dame. Cincinnati might be in the running for the playoff, and I don't think Luke Fickell allows the opportunity to pass them. I don't think they allow that opportunity to be passed up, to miss out on it, especially not on their home turf. Expect a very, very difficult game for the Bearcats. Expect an instant classic between the Bearcats and the Knights, but I believe Cincinnati gets the best of UCF again. They kind of own their number right now. Beat them 2 years ago, beat them last year. They're going to beat them in the regular season this year, and they're going to beat them again in the championship game. Cincinnati and Luke Fickell 12-1 with another American Athletic Championship under their belt. The million-dollar question is, will that be good enough to get into the playoff, or will they just be relegated to another New Year's Six bowl game? That is the million-dollar question, guys. This conference is the one to watch in 2021, and Cincinnati is absolutely the team to watch in 2021 to see if they can go out and make some history. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. As always, sign up for the Expert Picks over on thegridironexpert.com. Sign up for PrizePicks using our link and promo code down there. Neither of those you want to miss out on. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.